When you think of ancient Rome, what comes to mind? Majestic aqueducts, legions conquering the known world, or maybe the deafening roar of the Colosseum crowd, thirsty for spectacle. Today, we're journeying back to a time when entertainment was raw, brutal, and often deadly. We're counting down 15 of the most shocking and brutal games that captivated ancient Rome. Forget your modern sports, this was life and death played out for the mass. Let's start our list at number 15. The Asterisk Venetians Asterisk, or wild beast hunts. Imagine the Colosseum floor transformed into a miniature wilderness, complete with rocks and trees. Then, from hidden gates, emerge lions, tigers, bears, elephants, rhino screechers from the furthest corners of the empire. Armed with spears and bows, specially trained hunters called Asterisk Venatoris. Asterisk would face these terrified and enraged animals. It was a display of human courage against nature's fury. While some hunters were celebrated professionals, many were condemned criminals, thrown to the beasts with little hope of survival. A grim public execution disguised as a show. Moving on to number 14. We have a spectacle that was less about combat and more about morbid creativity. Mythological reenactments. The Romans loved their myths, but they gave them a terrifyingly real twist. Condemned prisoners were forced to act out the grislier parts of these ancient stories. Imagine someone being dressed as Icarus, then launched from a height to their doom, or another tied to a stake to be mauled by a bear, reenacting the myth of Prometheus. This wasn't just theater, it was a scheduled execution where the line between art and atrocity was completely erased. The crowd didn't just watch a story, they watched it happen, live, and in horrifying detail. At number 13, we find the Asterisk Equirria. Asterisk, ceremonial horse races, held in honor of the war god, Mars. While horse racing might sound tame compared to what's to come, these were no ordinary derbies. The races were chaotic, high-speed events held on the campus market. Chariots would crash, horses would fall, and riders would be dragged, trampled, or crushed. The climax was particularly gruesome. After the final race, the right-hand horse of the winning team was sacrificed. Its head would be cut off and fought over by residents of 2 different Roman neighborhoods. A bloody, ritualistic tug-of-war for a grisly prize. Coming in at number 12 are the Asterisk Luditori Asterisk, or bull games. Long before Spanish bullfighting, the Romans had their own version. This event likely originated with the Etruscans and involved acrobatic bull leaping and, of course, bullfighting. Skilled performers would face down charging bulls, a dance of agility and danger. While sometimes the bulls were simply fought and killed, other times the spectacle involved bull grappling, where daredevils would attempt to wrestle the animal to the ground with their bare hands. It was a powerful display of human strength against animal force, and as you can guess, it often ended badly for the human. Number 11 on our list is a contest of pure strength, boxing, or asterisk. Pugilatus, but Roman boxing was a far cry from the sport we know today. There were no padded gloves, no rounds, and no weight classes. Fighters wrapped their hands in hard leather straps, sometimes studded with metal. The goal wasn't to score points, but to incapacitate the opponent. Fights could last for hours, ending only when one man was knocked out or surrendered. The damage was immense. Broken bones, shattered teeth, and permanent disfigurement were common. It was a test of endurance and pain tolerance, a true war of attrition. We're reaching the top 10, and at number 10, things get naval. I'm talking about the Asterisk Nomakia Asterisk, or mock sea battles. For these incredibly lavish spectacles, an arena like the Colosseum would be flooded, or a special basin would be dug. Full-sized, working warships, manned by thousands of prisoners or convicts, would then engage in a full-scale battle. They weren't just acting, they were fighting to the death. They would ram each other, board each other's ships, and fight with swords and spears until one side was annihilated. Imagine witnessing a real naval battle, complete with drowning men and splintered ships, all contained within an arena. The scale and costs were astronomical, reserved only for the most triumphant celebrations. 18 number 9, we have the Asterisk Pancratium Asterisk, or *Pancratian*. This was the ancient equivalent of mixed martial arts, but with far fewer rules. It combined boxing and wrestling, and pretty much anything was allowed: kicking, choking, joint locks, you name it. Only biting and eye gouging were officially forbidden, though some sources suggest even that rule was bent. It was considered the ultimate test of a fighter, demanding skill, strength, and a ruthless will to win. Matchas were brutal and could end in severe injury or even death, as fighters pushed their bodies to the absolute limit. Number 8 introduces us to a specific and fascinating type of gladiator. The Riciarius *. This fighter was unique because he fought with minimal armages, a shoulder guard and a loincloth. His weapons were those of a fisherman, a weighted net, a trident, and a small dagger. His opponent was usually the heavily armed *. This created a dramatic clash of styles: speed and cunning versus brute force and heavy protection. The Riciarius would try to entangle his foe in the net before moving in with the trident. It was a high-risk, high-reward strategy that made for a thrilling, unpredictable combat. Slightly more brutal. At number 7, we have the *Gandabata. This was one of the strangest and most disorienting forms of gladiatorial combat. The fighters were forced to wear helmets that had no eye holes, leaving them completely blind. They would then be let loose in the arena, sometimes on horseback, to flail around and swing their swords wildly, hoping to make contact with their opponent. The crowd found this clumsy, chaotic spectacle hilarious. But for the combatants, it was pure terror-blind fight for survival, guided only by the sounds of the jeering audience and the clash of steel. At number 6, we have the chilling practice of ad bestias *, meaning to the beasts. This wasn't a hunt or a fair fight. It was a form of public execution. Unarmed criminals, prisoners of war, and followers of forbidden religions were simply thrown into the arena with starving, ferocious animals. There was no sport involved, only a guaranteed, horrific death sentence, enacted for the crowd's entertainment. It was a powerful and terrifying tool of the state, a public demonstration of what happened to those who defied Roman law or authority. The sheer helplessness of the victims made this one of the most stomach-churning spectacles. We are now in our top 5, and at number 5 is the *Munus sine missione, combat without release. In most gladiatorial fights, a defeated but brave gladiator could be spared by the crowd or the sponsor of the games. But in a *Munus sine missione the fight was explicitly to the death. There was no surrender, no mercy, no hope of survival for the loser. The combatants knew that only one of them would walk out of the arena alive. This guaranteed bloodshed made these events particularly popular with the most bloodthirsty spectators, and upped the stakes to the absolute maximum. At number 4, let's talk about the Hoplomachus versus the Murmulo *. This was a classic gladiatorial pairing, designed to be a reenactment of Roman soldiers fighting their Greek or Samnite enemies. The Mamilo, with his large shield and short sword, represented the Roman legionary. The Hoplomachus was armed more like a Greek hoplite, with a smaller shield, a spear, and a dagger. The clash of the long spear against the large shield created a dynamic and strategic fight, a deadly chess match where one wrong move could mean instant death. This pairing was a favorite for its balance of skill, strategy, and brutal action. Entering our top 3, at number 3, we have the Battle of the Demageri*. These were truly fearsome gladiators. Their name means bearing 2 knives, and that's exactly what they did. Demacharis. Fought with a sword in each hand and wore very little armor, relying entirely on his skill, speed, and agility to attack and defend simultaneously. To wield 2 swords effectively required incredible coordination and ambidextrity. Watching 2 Demacri fight would have been a dazzling whirlwind of flashing steel, a deadly dance where both fighters were a constant, dual-bladed threat. Our runner-up for the most brutal game, at number 2, is the chariot race to the death. While we mentioned horse races earlier, the chariot races in the Circus Maximus were on another level of danger. 4-horse chariots with thunder around a narrow track at breakneck speeds, with drivers trying to force their rivals into the central barrier or cause them to crash. Crashes were frequent and spectacular, often resulting in massive pileups. Drivers wrapped the reins around their waists, so if their chariot crashed, they would be dragged behind the terrified horses until they could cut themselves free if they were lucky. It was the ancient world's most popular and arguably most lethal. And finally, at number 1, the most brutal, shocking, and iconic spectacle of ancient Rome: the masked gladiatorial battles. These weren't duels, they were small-scale wars fought on the arena sand. Dozens, sometimes even hundreds or thousands, of prisoners of war or slaves would be armed and forced to fight in formations, reenacting famous historical battles. The event would continue until an entire side was wiped out. It was organized, state-sponsored slaughter on an epic scale. The ultimate expression of Rome's military might and its capacity for brutal entertainment. No other event combined such massive loss of life with the grandeur of a public festival. From beast hunts to naval battles, the Roman Games were a reflection of their society, a society that valued courage, dominance, and spectacle above all else. It's a stark reminder of how different our worlds are, and how entertainment can take on a much darker form. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. It's a dark part of history, but a fascinating one to understand. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more incredible stories from the past, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let me know in the comments which of these games shocked you the most. Until next time, stay curious.